Hello friends, welcome again back to another beautiful tutorial. How you all doing today? Hope you're good and I hope you're generally fine. So today I'm going to show you how to cut what? A trouser. Yes, how to cut a trouser. And then this is the fabric that I'm going to be using. This is a cashmere fabric alongside my working tools. So let's get to the drawing table. So here I have my fabric folded. Okay, so the very good way to know the width of your fold is to work with the hip circumference. Now for this person, the hip is 40 divided by 4 and that will be 10. Then I'll add about 5 to 6 inches. So I added 6 inches to that and that is 16. So you can see me now measuring what the width of my fold to be sure that it is 16. So once I achieve that, that's what I can work with. I hope you understand. Just work with the hip circumference, divide it by 4, then add 6 inches to it. So that's what I have here. So you can see my fold is ready. Now this pant is going to have a band of about 2 inches. So I need to take away 2 inches while I mark all my vertical lines. Okay, now before that I had to put about 0.5 inches at the very top there. So that is going to be my startup line. So this 0.5 inches is what I'm going to use to join it to the band. Okay, yeah, so from that point now I can place it at what my 2 inches mark. Remember, these 2 inches represent the band that will be added later on. So from there now I'll start indicating other vertical lines. So the first was the hip line, and so I'm marking that at 9. The next is going to be what? The crotch depth. The crotch depth. So the crotch depth is the hip divided by 4 and that is 10. Add about 2 inches to that and that will be 12. So you can see I'm marking that down as well, 12 inches. Now the next line is going to be the new length. So I'm marking that what? At 19. Okay, so 19 inches is what I'm using. So just place it at the same 2 inches mark there, then indicates what? 19. Now the next line that will follow will be the calf. So the calf is the fullest part of the leg, so you can always add 5 inches to the new and that stands for the calf. So if you add 5 inches to the new, which is already 19, that's 24, right? So just go ahead and mark 24. Now the next line is going to be what? The full length of the pant, and for this person is going to be what? 39. That's the length of the pant. Then I'm going to add hemming allowance about 2 to 3 inches is fine. So I'm working with 3 inches. So 3 inches to that 39, that's going to be what? 42. So I'm going ahead to also indicate that line. So you can see all those lines are there. So this totally depends on what the body measurements that you're working with. So all I need to do now is just to reciprocate this point there so that what I can get a perfect straight line. Okay, so you can see I'm going ahead to indicate all the lines there, then of course going ahead to mark the lines. So after that as well, I'll go ahead and label it all. So you can see what I'm doing. So that's just it. So here you can see we have our vertical line, the hip line, the crotch, the knee, the calf, the length, and of course the hemline and the hemline there. So that's it. So yeah, we have it. We're good to go. So we can now start imputing what? The body circumference. Well, before we start with the body circumference, you need to create what? A side shape. Okay, so right from that very lowest point there, that's the hemline, I'm going to be going in by 2 inches. 2 inches on that point and the same 2 inches on the hemline because it's the same. You can see 2 inches there. Then I'll come to the nail. I'll go in by what? 1.5. 2 inches down there, 1.5 at the nail. You can see what I'm doing. So I'll go ahead and connect this point together. Okay, and once I do, I'll also connect it to the hip point. Okay, so that's going to help us create the side shape. Okay, so you can see I'm connecting it from the hip to the knee and from the knee down to the length of the pant. So you can see what we have here. Now I'm also going to take it from the hip to the waist, but we need to take note of what the waist measurement is going to be, but we'll come back to that. Now on the crotch, I'm going to fix in the hip circumference divided by 4. Okay, and this is 40 divided by 4 and that is 10. Now at this point you can choose to add the seam allowance you want to work with, whether you're adding 2 inches or I'm adding 3 inches, okay, because it's going to have just a little bit of ease, right? Yeah, so I'm adding 3, but if you want it all tight and fitted, then you can work with just 2 inches. So, but of course, you can always be on the safe side and add 3 inches. So I'm adding 3 inches for there, okay? So this point, I'm going to extend it to the hip line up to the waistline. So you can see what I'm doing. Yes, so remember, on that crotch line, the hip circumference divide by 4, added 3 inches as the seam allowance, and of course the ease allowance together, then extend it all the way to the waistline. So now that we have that waist point, it's from that waistline there, we can now take what? Our waist circumference, right? Okay, so from that point now, you input the waist circumference divided by 4, and for this person is 30 divided by 4, and that is 7.5. So you can see I'm marking that 7.5 there, and of course you go ahead and add the extra 3 inches, which includes that for the seam allowance and of course the ease allowance. So you can see that, right? So that point now we have for our waist. Then we can now connect it what to the hip. You can see, so this is going to what give us that our hip shape right there. So you can see this now, and that's it, guys. So you can always eliminate that sharp edge by smoothing that later on. Yeah, so you can see what we have. So we're done with the side. So once you also need to know that every other measurement will be taken has to start from those lines that we have just drawn by the side. Okay, all right. So now on that crotch line, I have to input my crotch. So I'm going to use a crotch of about 2.5 inches I'll be using for my crotch. So I'll go ahead and put that there, and of course I'll create my curve, my crotch curve right now towards the hip line, and that will be it, guys. That will be it for the upper part. So remember, you know, on the crotch, on the hip, on the waist, we have been dividing by 4, right? And adding our extra 3 inches. But coming down to the knee, down to the calf, to the hemline, we'll be dividing what? By 2. Okay? Dividing by 2. Now, on that knee line, the new circumference is 18 for this person. 18. So that 18, remember I said you have to divide by 2. So if you divide the 18 by 2, what do we have? We are going to have what? 9 inches, right? So 9 inches is what I'm going to impute. So you can see the knee circumference is 18 divided by 2, 9 inches. So I'll go ahead and put in my 9 inches down. So 9 inches there, and of course you also put in the allowance that you're working with. And you can see we are working with 3. So we'll put in the 3 inches right there. Now we'll go down to the calf, which is the fullest part of the leg, and the circumference there is 16. 16 divided by 2 is is 8. So we'll go ahead and mark that point. You can see we are marking it from the side line there. Okay, yeah. So mark that point 9. Then of course still add the extra 3 inches that we're working with, depending on whatever it is that you're working with. Now coming down to the hemline there, so this represents the ankle. So the round circumference there is 14. So 14 divided by 2, and that is 7. So go ahead and mark that 7 inches there. And of course, still add the extra 3 inches that we are working with. So you can see this. And that's it. So you just extend it to the end there. And that will be it. So we can see all we need to do now is to connect all these points together. Okay, right from the crotch point to the knee, to the calf, down to the hem line, and that's it. So go ahead and do this now, so you can see. And our pants is almost ready. You can see it's almost we're almost done here now. So we've created this. So yeah, so all I need to do, remember on the waistline, the front of your pants is meant to go deeper at the center, so about 0.5 or 0.75. So I'm coming down by 0.75 there. So we just extend it to the waist line there. You can see what I'm doing. So why for the back is going to be higher. Okay, back is going to be higher, so you can see what we have. So our pants is ready. This is the front piece, you can see. Yeah, so we're done. So remember, at that very top, we're still going to add that 0.5 inches, okay, that is supposed to use to join it to the band. So I'm going to be indicating that later on. So just going ahead to cut. Guys, don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that. Please remember to like, share with friends, share with your sewing communities. I'll appreciate this a lot. Okay, thank you so much, guys. So please like, share, and subscribe. So yeah, you can see I've added that 0.5 inches at the very top there. So it's slanted right there. So just go ahead and cut this out. So you can see our front piece is ready. We're good to go here now. So cutting for the back piece is easier. So I'm going to set this aside, and yeah. Now for the back piece, we know the width of fold we use. All you need to do is to add about 3 inches to what you have for your front piece, okay? Yes, and that will be enough for the back. So now I already have my back folded. I'll just bring my front piece and place. So you can see the one I'm placing it in such a way that I have about 3 inches space at the very top. Remember, we're going to be extending the center back for the front, and the back rather, okay, because the back is supposed to be higher. All right, yeah. So now on that crotch depth, you can see I've extended the lines there. So on that crotch depth, I'm going to add 2 inches. So I'm going up by 2 inches. That's the extension for the back piece. While for the sides, I'm going to do 1.5. Okay, 2 inches on the crotch, 1.5 inches on the sides, and also on the upper part. And that's it. So just go ahead now and reciprocate it all the way. You can see 1.5 all the way to the nail, to the calf, down to the end of the pant, and also on the upper part. So just going ahead now to connect all these points together. You can see, so creating the back piece is quite straightforward. You can see, just recreating my crotch again for the back piece, and we're almost done for this. So you can see this now. So what is left now is to extend the upper parts. Remember I said the back side is higher, so I'm extending it by 2 inches. So you can see, so I'm marking that 2 inches upward. So I'll go ahead and extend it all the way, and of course connect it to the waistline there. You can see it's also in slanted form. Guys, believe it when I tell you now that we are done. It's that simple, guys. We're done. So just go ahead now and cut this entire piece out, and we are good to go. Remember I said you should don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't done that, please don't forget to subscribe, like, share with friends, share with your sewing communities. I'll appreciate this a lot. So we're done here, guys. I mean, this is quite straightforward, right? Yes. So the only thing left now will be to start joining all your pieces together. So I already have several trouser cutting and sewing tutorial up on the channel. Please kindly go ahead and watch it in case for the sewing process. Now this particular pant is going to have a front zip fly, and of course a side pocket. Okay, so this is a corporate pants. So yes, and already have that tutorial up on my channel. So before that, you can see I folded it into 2 equal parts, notched the center, so that is going to represent my dart. So on that point, you can just sew about 4 to 5 inches, and that will be okay for the dart, for both the front and the back. Okay, yeah. So guys, I have the video for the front zip fly up on my channel, and also how to create a side pocket for a trouser. Everything is already up on my channel. Okay, in case you're confused, just go to the search button and type, let's say, front zip fly pattern on Sew Fashion. It will just come up, and the same thing for the pocket, it will just come up. Okay, everything is there. Thank you so much, guys. So I'll see you on the next tutorial. Bye.